Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you are new here, I am Amelia. We are a homeschooling family of 5 and I show you on this channel how we live really frugally, living off one income in the UK. And today I've set myself another budget challenge. If you haven't seen it, a couple of years ago I did an extreme budget challenge where I fed my family, of which was 4 at the time, for £20. If you're interested in that, go watch that. And I've also did an update on that video about 6 months ago, for how much it would cost in 2024 and the inflation of prices, but go check them out if you're interested. But today we are setting a little bit of a bigger budget for my family of 5, but still quite restrictive. We are setting a £40 budget for the week. I don't know if it's going to be enough because I'm also getting a bit more expensive items that are a bit more higher in protein. My last video was a plant-based, like eating plant-based, so it was a lot cheaper. But there also wasn't much protein. Great for fruit and veggies, or great for veggies, I guess, but not great for protein. So I'm trying to add a bit more protein in. Might be a bit of controversial with what I'm choosing to buy because people think it might be too expensive, but I'm going to explain all that. So I'm about to go head out now and do the shop. I was meant to do it yesterday, but I randomly had like a 24-hour sickness bug and I couldn't get out. So we kind of feel like we literally have nothing in. I have prepped some items for the week already. If you don't know, I don't really make much money from YouTube. It's not a full-time thing whatsoever. We don't earn much at all. I am not going to be buying new items if I already have them in for this week, but I am budgeting and I'll show you how much they were if I were to buy them. And I've like weighed out items if I was buying it today. So I'm going to be adding that price into the budget, but I'll explain all that. Let's go and do the food shop now. I'll see you when I'm back. Sorry, I've got the dog. That's probably what you're going to be hearing. But I'm back from the food shop and I will show you everything I got, how much we spent. We are currently under the £40 mark, so I've left a bit of leeway for if I do need to pop out and get anything. I'm hoping this is enough, but looking at it always makes me nervous because like, it doesn't look like a huge amount of food. So I'll show you what we've got. And like I said, I have bought, like I had a few things that I've already got in that I'm gonna budget into this. Like I have gotten, say, 30 eggs from the farm a few weeks back. I'm gonna be using these, but I will budget in for if I were to buy the 2 packs of 15 from Aldi, which is like £5.50. Same with rice and some other bits, but let me first show you what we've got. This is everything that we've got for the Extreme Budget Grocery Challenge. But we've got some celery, some potatoes, some mushrooms, and weirdly enough, I don't like celery and I don't like mushrooms, but they work in bulking out dishes. You can't then taste them, and I often sometimes blend them. So this is why I buy them. So even if you don't like celery or mushrooms, they're cheap for the amount you get for your money, and they really help to bulk out a dish. So we've got celery, potatoes, mushrooms, some red onions, some broccoli, which was also 30% off. And we use the entire broccoli. I don't just use the florets, I use the stem as well. So I got the broccoli, some penne pasta and some spaghetti, some stock cubes. I learned from my previous video that I did a couple of years ago to get this type of stock cubes because that is how you make your food yummier. If you're not spending as much money on food, then make sure to get stock cubes, enough stock cubes for the week. We've got 3 tins of tomatoes. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough. I might have to get another one. I was meant to get 4 and I've only just realised while putting this out that I only got 3. So, of course. Annoyingly, they didn't have the kidney beans in chili sauce, so I got 4 of the taco beans in sauce, and these are more expensive than if you were to get the beans separately, like in water. But you need less ingredients to make them yummy because they come with the flavor already. So it's a kind of, if you're living like this for a short amount of time and you can't afford the herbs and spices, for not much more, you do get almost like a complete meal. So we've got 4 tins of the taco bean mix. It was meant to be 2 tins and then 2 kidney beans, but they don't have the kidney beans, so I'll have to make do. A tin of green lentils, 5 tins of baked beans, a carton of milk, some cheddar cheese. This is also my bougie item of the shop. You could have gotten the like margarine butter for 95p for a lot more. However, we tried to not have a huge amount of processed oils and stuff, so you could easily switch this out and save a ton of money because this was £2 for half the amount as the margarine, which was like 95p for 500 grams. This is 250 grams for £2. But I wasn't willing to compromise on that, so I did get a butter. Let's see if I'm going to regret that. 2 cloves of garlic. They were on sale at 25p each, so I got the 2 big ones. A big bag of carrots. They didn't have the normal big bags that they have with they normally have the wonky carrots. I think it's like 2 point 5 kg or something, but this was all they had. I might have to get another one. Let's see. And then again, this is not a necessity. However, I have 3 boys who love ketchup. Me and Joel also like sauce. So we did get a ketchup. Normally I get 2 for a week, so rationing to 1 is going to be interesting. But again, you can omit this, of course, from the shop and save money. 2 mozzarellas for, what's the thing called? Pizza night. I normally get the grated mozzarella, but these are cheaper, so we went for these. A tin, no, that's not a tin. A bag of frozen sweet corn, 2 things of tomato puree, and then this is where we get into the stuff of things I already had that I'm adding into the budget. This is 1 kg worth of rice. We buy a big bag of rice of like 10 kg, and we distribute it into jars. So I didn't want to buy another smaller one. Normally, I'll insert here how much it is from the shop or a picture of how much it is from the shop, but I measured out 1 kg of the rice of stuff that I already had. So we're going to add that to the running total for the Extreme Budget Challenge. Then I already had eggs in. So I got 30 eggs here, and I'm going to add on the price for these 2 eggs as if I was buying them from Aldi. This tray is normally £6 from the farm, but I'm acting as if I've bought the 2 packets from Aldi, which are the same size eggs. 2 15 packs they're £2.69 each. So we're going to add that on to this as well. And then a day or 2 ago, I weighed out 3 kg worth of our flour. We buy flour in bulk because I make all of my own bread from home. And I weighed out 3 kg, which is the equivalent of 2 bags of plain flour. Before I bought flour in bulk, I did used to buy the cheap plain flour from Aldi, and it does the same thing. So this is for our bread for the week, which I've already made 2 loaves. I'm hoping I can make 2 more loaves and then our pizza, and that probably will use up that whole bag. That 4 loaves should be plenty for the week, I'm hoping. I'm adding on 2 bags of flour as if I bought the plain flour from the shop. Maybe I'm making this more confusing than it needs to be. And then you could very easily just buy 1 bag of flour and then buy a couple of loaves of bread. I find that homemade bread fills you up more and it's better for you, and I prefer the taste to it than the cheap bread. But I have inserted a picture and how much the loaves of bread are if you did want to switch out homemade bread for the pre-made bread and just buy flour for the pizza. This is everything that we have to eat for the next 7 days. Looking at it always doesn't feel like much, and as a disclaimer, we have a few bits of like fruit, lots of Easter eggs. Don't even get me started on the Easter egg issue. But we have a few bits of fruit. Ignore the veggies, I'm gonna chop and freeze them. But we have a few little oranges as well as a few apples. I will let the kids just eat them until they're gone because I don't want food going to waste. So although I haven't bought fruit for this week, I'd prefer them to eat it than food going to waste. But I want to stick to eating only this other than the few bits of fruit that need to get eaten. People are gonna tell me that eggs are expensive. I disagree here. They are maybe more expensive than they used to be for sure. But the thing I love about eggs is that you don't have to eat many of them to feel full for longer. And I find I would prefer to spend the money on eggs and then not feel as hungry as quickly. Like I had 1 egg on toast at 8:30, 9, and I'm still good to go, and it's nearly 1 o'clock now. So I find it is good to invest in something that's a bit more expensive perhaps, but you have to eat less of it to feel satiated and satisfied. We've got a mixture of dinners that I'm going to be making, and the plan is not really to have lunches. We're going to have leftovers as our lunches. So I am going to show you everything we eat. I've got a little piece of paper to keep the tally marks on for how many meals we make for each dish. And I will let you know how much food and how many meals we were actually able to get out of this food, if we can get through a week, and if I buy anything else with the budget. So this is how much we have spent so far. I have set a budget for £40, but I do have some money left in the budget, so we'll see if I need to buy anything else. So every day for breakfast this week, the options are beans on toast, eggs on toast, just toast. One of my sons had like eggy bread a couple of the days, and it'll be a variation of that type of thing. Often me and Joel have eggs on toast. My younger 2 normally have like beans on toast or just beans, and then my eldest goes back and forth between eggs and beans, and sometimes like eggy bread as well. But that is everything that we've got for breakfast, and I make all of my own homemade sourdough bread, which definitely makes it a lot more affordable and so much yummier and filling. We actually had the perfect amount of eggs and beans. We ate all of the eggs by day 6, and then day 7 there was 1 or 2 tins of beans left. So it worked out perfectly. And I do often have a bit of cheese and some ketchup on my toast and eggs as well. So I've got some eggs on toast with ketchup and a little bit of cheese, and then my son's scraps that he didn't eat. And yeah, you might think I'm gross, but I always eat the kids' scraps because I'm always tend to have breakfast last because I work out first, and I hate food waste. And I'm like, there's honestly nothing wrong with a few spare beans, so more food for me. Then for the first night, I was out for dinner, so I actually made a chilli at lunchtime, ready for dinner for Joel and the kids and for me for when I got back. Throughout this week, whatever I made for dinner, I made enough for the lunch the day after as well. So we had chilli and rice for dinner 1, and then we had a mixture of chilli and rice and chilli and jacket potatoes for lunch the next day. Got one of my kids with a jacket potato, one with rice. Yes, they like it blended. My one, and then the babies. Day 2 was a Friday night, so we made pizzas for everyone, and you can see here that I made a little tiny slice of bread for my baby's pizza because I didn't have enough flour to make a whole nother pizza or enough cheese, but I needed a bit more if we were going to have it for lunch the next day as well for my baby. So this did do us for lunch and dinner. These pizzas are deceivingly filling. Half pizza definitely does fill us up. The kids just had plain cheese, and I was so surprised at how far I got my cheese to stretch this week, and it's definitely made me reconsider how much cheese I actually need to buy. And then me and my husband, we put some sweet corn and onions in from the shop, and we did also have a jar of jalapenos that we did decide to add, but of course, this is optional. We only did it because we had it in. Dinner number 3, I made a version of my Hulk pasta. If you want that recipe, it's already up on my video. No, it's already up on my channel. Although I'm trying to only use things from the shop, I realised that I didn't actually have much greens. So I did decide from the freezer I had a little bit of peas left, so I did add in a little bit of the frozen peas just to help make it a bit more green so that the sweet corn didn't change the colour too much. But we fry off some onions, some garlic, and the stem of the broccoli for a little bit to soften it up. Add in the rest of the broccoli, the sweet corn, the peas, and then kind of make a DIY roux within the vegetables. And then I just blend it up and topped it with spaghetti. And this fed us very comfortably for 2 days. There was even more, I think, than 10 portions, if I'm honest. Night number 3 is Hulk spaghetti pasta. And you'll see the only thing I added that I hadn't bought from this was a little bit of peas. That is dinner for night 3. You're going to hear a load of kids. We're having my nephew around today playing, so it's a bit chaotic. But hi, it is day 3. We are on Sunday. And it looks like chickenpox has hit my house. So it looks like potentially Joel and the 3 kids might have chickenpox. Joel's not sure if he had it growing up. We're seeing spots on 2 of the kids. So this is going to be a really interesting. I made another loaf of bread, and I've also decided to add another 1.5 kg bag of flour I weighed out this morning, because who was I kidding? Like 3 kg of course was not going to be enough flour for me for a week. I am the sourdough queen and I need more than that. So we're going to add an extra 78p to the running total. So this is where we're at for the grocery budget challenge so far. I'm hoping you can hear me amongst all the noises, but I've also made a mushroom bolognese, and I'm gonna make, that is not ours, that is my nephew's, he's brought it with him. Oh, and just a little sneak peek in here, look what we put in today. We're having quails, we've got 24 quail eggs in the incubator, so I'll hopefully keep you posted on that journey. So we've got, the boys are having, Joel's made fried rice that has some veggies in and some like fried eggs and stuff. Then the boys have got theirs in wraps. I made 4 wraps. We're going to have ours in bowls probably, but they have them in wraps. It's just easier to eat and they're more likely to eat more and keep them more full. Everything from here was from our usual shop. The only thing we added was a bit of soy sauce and sugar. And we did have a bag of chopped up frozen baby corn that I did put in as well. But again, these were optional extras and there still would have been enough if we hadn't done that. Then night 5, we made my lazy lasagna bake, and it's literally just making a mushroom bolognese, blending that up and mixing that in with the penne pasta. And then I make a simple roux. You can see here it was lunchtime that I was making this ready for later on in the day, and I'm heating up the leftover Hulk pasta for lunch as well. And then all I do is once the roux is thick, I add a bit of cheese and just drizzle it on top of the penne and mushroom bake. And then I sprinkle on a bit of cheese, and then when I'm ready to eat it, we just bake it in the oven for a bit. And it's just my lazy girl version of a lasagna when I cannot be bothered to do all the layering and I can't afford the lasagna sheets because they are more expensive. Please don't comment on how I look because I'm tired. We are in the thick of everyone in the house bar me having chicken pox or some form of illness. And I just popped to the shop to get some orange juice because all the boys that live in my house need vitamin C, as well as some grapes, which is my baby's go-to fruit, and apparently fruit was just needed today. So I have added them to the total. So that was £3.89. I think we're at a total of £39.33. So I do not have much money left in the budget, so I'm hoping I have enough food. It was day 4, night, like dinner 5 today. So I've only got 2 more dinners and 3 more like breakfast and lunch to go. So I should be fine. And I've got loads of leftover like lasagna bake, so we should be good. Then dinner number 6, I was saving the best till closer to the end of the week. And I honestly love burritos. They're probably one of my favourite dinners that I make. But we had to change up a little bit because I didn't have all my usual ingredients. And I decided to make some of my pickled onions, which is literally just a bit of lemon. No, it's not. A bit of lime juice and sugar. And then you just shake it up and let them sit for a bit and they go all nice and pickled. And then I had quite a few carrots. So I attempted to make some carrot slaw, which I didn't obviously buy all the ingredients for this carrot slaw from the shop today. So you could have just added a bit of mayo, but I wanted to get a little bit fancy and just trial something new. And it's like, I've added in mayo. It was meant to be honey. I didn't have any, so I put in a little bit of golden syrup, some lemon juice, some normal vinegar it was meant to be, but I only had balsamic vinegar, and a little bit of mustard and oil when I mixed it up and added it to shredded carrot. And then I decided to grab some chives from my garden because everything is better with chives on. It's my favourite herb. And I absolutely love this, and I will definitely be making it again. It's so easy and cheap and so good to add with the burritos. And then all I did was cook up some of the refried beans, which I blended 1.5 tins of the mixed beans, then added the rest of the tin all together to keep it a bit thick still. And then while that was boiling, I made 8 homemade wraps. If you want my wrap recipe, I have a short on my channels already. And then I just cooked up some rice. And I'm probably going to have people say that I don't cook rice properly, but this is the way that I get perfect rice every time. I did shove on some sweet corn to steam while that was cooking as well. Last night, my last dinner was a lentil stew, and all it is some caramelized onions, garlic, and then from the cupboard I added in some smoked paprika, cumin, and a bit of olive oil, but that was it. And then I added in some tomato puree, then I added in some stock, some lentils, and some uncooked rice. Let that cook for 15 minutes, and you have a delicious stew, and we had that with the leftover bread for dinner. That is what we ate for the £40 Extreme Budget Grocery Challenge for the week. And it would have been really simple and chill if my whole family didn't end up getting chicken pox, but they did. We ended up spending a total of £39.33, so just under £40, and I kept a tally of every single meal that we had, whether we had it for a lunch or for dinner, we like leftovers for lunch, whatever breakfast we had, and we just had our last meal for lunch. So we managed to get 100 meals out of this £40, and we even have food left over. We had a couple of sticks of celery, like 3 or 4 big mushrooms left, and rice as well. There's a bit of rice left. Is that everything? I think that was everything. So we did mostly eat everything. Let me know if you liked this video and if it helped you at all, and let me know other videos you would like to see down below. If you would like to go see my £20 challenge I did a couple of years ago, then I will link that up above and down below. And that is everything for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, friends.